So where we are is the northern terminus of the Bibbulmun track. Now I should probably have recorded this at the start of the run, but I didn't because it was a little bit too dark and I didn't think we'd get decent video. So to introduce the run we're going to do today, we're starting here at the northern terminus of the Bibb track. It's right in Kalamunda, so the shop's just behind me. And what we're going to do is run down the Bibbulmun track to towards Mundaring. So we'll go past Camel Farm, which is about 8 k's, and then down to Golden View Lookout. So that is about 14.5, something like that. So what I'm expecting to shake out of today's run is around 29 kilometers. So just a couple of things of what you can expect if you run from here. This run is out and back, so you can really make it any distance you want starting from here in Kalamunda. So you could just go yeah, a couple of k's if you want. If you want a really long out and back, you could go to Albany and back. That's about 2,000 kilometers. So this is a continuous track all the way down to Albany. What kind of terrain might you encounter on this run? It's quite varied. Some of the first sections of this, you go on some pretty easy track, a little bit of road, but then there is a section maybe after 3 k's where it's quite steep and rocky. It's not really runnable terrain, or at least not by me, that section at least. It's then quite hilly until you get to the Camel Farm, and from the Camel Farm it's largely kind of semi-maintained fire road down to Golden View, and of course the reverse on the way back. In terms of facilities here, obviously you've got the shops over the road. In addition to that, there are some toilets here as well. So there's toilets at the visitor centre, which is just up the road, and there's also some toilets, because the ones at the visitor centre aren't open until 6 a.m. And even then sometimes I found they're not. There is another toilet block behind the Dome Cafe that's open 24/7. If you're there before sunup, you probably want to take a torch with you because they're not well lit at all. And yeah, that's probably about it. So I'll share with you a bit of video that we took out on the trail. I finished halfway point of this run, and what you can see behind me there is Mundaring Weir. So Mundaring Weir was constructed by C.Y. O'Connor, and it forms part of the Golden Pipeline project. So the Golden Pipeline runs from here at Mundaring 560 kilometers to the east out to Kalgoorlie, and it was constructed to supply drinking water, and it really allowed the development of Kalgoorlie and that whole goldfields region, and fueled a lot of the prosperity of WA in sort of like the early 1900s. And then we can see that flowing all the way through to today with the super pit and the other projects out in that area. So this puts us about just under 15 k's, I think about 14.5 kilometers from Kalamunda out to here. It's a pretty mixed track, as you can see on the video. You've got that technical section at the start, and then the second half is actually really a lot more runnable. It's a lot easier terrain. So we're going to turn around, we're going to head back from here. I'll show you a little bit more of the terrain and the track that we passed through on the way back. But for now, let's just enjoy the view that's it's out here. Have a snack and then head back. So what's in behind me here is Kalamunda Camel Farm. the camel farm is a really popular spot for people to come and ride mountain bikes from. It's also about 8 kilometers from Kalamunda, so I'm heading back from Mundaring towards Kalamunda now. This is actually a good spot if you want a shorter run. If you want to run like 16 k's from Kalamunda, you can turn around here. There's also toilets here, there's water. I think they've got a vending machine. I don't know if it's still there. It was a little while ago. I didn't stop there today and look. There's a cafe there as well if you want like a cold drink or coffee or anything like that. Just obviously check the opening hours. But yeah, Kalamunda Camel Farm. We've got about 8 k's to go back to Kalamunda, so get to it. So where we are is, I don't know, maybe 4 k's from the camel farm, maybe 3, I don't know, something like that, between 3 and 4, maybe 4. So we're about 4 k's from the camel farm, let's just call it that, which means that we've got maybe 4 or 5 k's to go to get back to Kalamunda. This intersection here, it's kind of like under the power lines. You've got a pretty good view out that way. I don't know if you can really see it on this camera. The trail just continues down here, just down here behind me now. So this is where the trail actually starts to become a little more technical in nature. So we've got some steeper, more rocky sections that we need to negotiate. A few people on bikes that we'll just get out of their way. Good morning. So there's a few steeper, more kind of rocky sections that we'll probably end up walking. We might just talk a little bit about the track while we do that. So let's get after it. We're on this steeper, sort of slightly more technical section of track that I was talking about before when we're up at the fire roads. So sort of take a moment to talk about, like, is the trail marked? And the answer is yes, the trail is marked. However, some of the markers are a little bit difficult to spot, especially if you're running. So they tend to be a little bit higher than the level, or at least I tend to look when I'm running. It is quite easy to miss them. Come out on the Bibb, what you're going to be looking to do is follow these yellow markers called wargles. So it's the yellow marker, it's like a snake.